Cheryl, how are you feeling? Any symptoms, conditions?
Um, I just had like a perpetual headache for about 5 days.
Oh God,
Yeah,
even now?
a little bit, yeah.
Hmm.
But
Okay.
I don't know.
And do you know what it's from?
I don't.
Uh-huh.
I don't. I'm
Okay.
chalking it up to
So then
essentially.
let's start with Supta Baddha Konasana because that's kind of my usual go-to because it cools the body off. So
Okay.
let's start with a bolster. So usually when we have a headache, whatever the cause, we're overheated.
Oh, okay.
Blanket on either side. And so at least to start off with cooling. So we're starting off, Cheryl has had a headache, so we're going to start off with Supta Baddha Konasana. Now if you have two straps, have two straps. Otherwise, one is fine. So if you have two straps, then I would say this is the way to do it. So the buckle is in front, underneath the thigh, and then I strap it. And I move the strap to like the very top of the thigh, the very bottom of the shin, and get it as tight as possible. The advantage to doing two straps versus one is then I can move my legs up and down like this, and I am able to get the shin a little closer in. Um, and I'm told that this is intentional. This is actually how the Iyengar is intended for the straps to be used in Sutra Baddha Konasana. However, they started doing the one strap method because they had so many students and they would run out of straps. So, but if you're at home and you have two straps, then use this. And also just to remind people that when you renew your 2021 membership, you get a strap. So everybody will get a Buddha strap, which is kind of great. Every strap I have, I use. You know, if I have two, I use it. If I have four, I use them. So now the thighs are supported, and then scoot the buttocks forward, lie back. See that the head is supported, neck is supported. All right, and then the arms at your sides. So now here, notice the position of the legs, and then if you have your arms wide also, then the armpits and the leg pits get to cool off. So those are two places, of course, where we hold a lot of heat, right? Where we tend to sweat is the armpits and the leg pits. It's where the lymph nodes are, and because they are hinges, they're joints, there's a lot of movement in those areas, so they get hot. And so here's a chance. When we cool off these lymph nodes, then the whole body cools off. And then also we have lymph nodes in the throat region, which in the throat is supported, back of the neck is supported with the blanket. So here, I'm using this to cool ourselves. So when I used to get premenstrual headaches or menstrual headaches, it was often because my body was a little overheated. So then 10 minutes in this pose and my headache would be gone. So it kind of depends on what the source of the headache is, but often just bringing down the temperature of the body a little bit will alleviate or eliminate the headache. You can modify how low your legs go by where the blankets are placed. You know, of course, you could put more than one blanket, or you could roll the blanket if you want a lot of height. There should not be any strain whatsoever in the groins, in the inner thighs. Inner thighs are lengthening, outer thighs pulling into the hip socket, but no strain whatsoever. And I didn't show the the single strap method, but it's basically one big loop around the head, around to the waist. The buckle's in the front, and then the strap goes underneath the outer edges of the feet. Strap goes along the sacrum, and so you're binding the feet in toward the hips. And so the advantage of this strap position is that it helps to lengthen the buttocks down. Sometimes the buttocks get kind of bunched at toward the waist, and that's not conducive. That can cause back pain. So this placement of the strap at the center of the buttock or just above the buttock will help to scoop the buttocks under into the posterior tilt position. Sometimes often people make the mistake of putting the strap along the waist. And so what happens then is then the lumbar gets pulled forward and it can cause back pain. And people come out of the pose and they're uncomfortable. So to avoid that hyperextension in the low back. Also, I will mention that another way to do this pose is with two bolsters in a T shape, and that's actually better if you're having low back pain. If you're having low back pain, I would not do this position. I would do the T shape instead. So the T shape, I'll just show for the sake of the recording, would be, there are two ways you could do the T shape. And I don't have two bolsters here, so I'm going to have to kind of improvise. I have a pranayama bolster. And then to, literally make a T. The two bolsters should be the same height. So now the T-shaped Supta Baddha Konasana can be done one of two ways. You could either have the feet here and then lie back like a Setu Bandha, or you could go the other way. Kind of depends on the condition, and you could try both ways and see what feels better. So you could do it this way instead. But you see in this position, the buttocks, the low back is more neutral. In when the chest is up on the bolster, then there is a small arch in the back, which is not always comfortable for everyone. And of course, to support the thighs, you could put blocks. So just cooling off. Now, another thing that you could do here in terms of headache is to cover the eyes. You could use a blanket to go partially over the forehead, eyebrows, eyelids, or you could even use a strap. This is where another great use of the strap is to just fold the strap like this and use that as a gentle eye covering. You don't want to put a lot of weight on the eyes. So we don't usually use like eye bags because sometimes they're kind of heavy and they push down on the eyelids, kind of push down on the eyeball. So that's not always a good thing. But the strap is lightweight. It blocks the light out, and it still helps to cool the nervous system. The brain, the eyes are definitely, I was reading this recently, the eyes are actually part of the brain. They're like extrusions of the brain. So it's not that the eyes are part of the central nervous system. The eyes are the central nervous system. So when we're gestating, when we're embryos, then as the brain is forming, then the brain starts to push out into the eye sockets and become the eyes. And so it's literally part of the brain. So when we quiet the eyes, quieting the eyes is actually a really quick and efficient way of accessing the brain and calming and cooling the brain. So calming and cooling the brain is part of what we need to do when we have a headache. Now, another frequent source of headache is neck and shoulder pain. And so this pose can also help with neck and shoulder pain. To make it even more useful in alleviating neck and shoulder pain, you could put a little extra height under the chest, under the shoulder blades, like a plank or a three-fold blanket or chumballs. So those are some options. Here, receive the temples. Let the temples draw in toward each other. So often the temples are implicated in headaches. There might be some heat or pounding at the temples. So consciously spread the forehead, spread between the eyebrows, receive the temples, receive the eyes. And then bring your attention to the breath. Let the breath settle into a soft, steady rhythm through the nose. And allow the exhales to slow down and become a little longer than the inhales. Don't make it exertive, but just observe and allow, invite the exhales to become slower than the inhales. In doing so, we quiet the sympathetic nervous system and we switch over into more of the parasympathetic nervous system by extending the exhales. I would say this is a great place to start and to stay for 10, 15 minutes or longer. Anytime you feel overheated, agitated, stressed, crampy, headachy, can't go wrong with this pose. So we'll try a couple more things, specifically for headache. So pressing the hands into the floor. Sit yourself up. You can bring in, if you have two straps, you can bring your knees up. If you have one strap, you can slip one foot up, one foot up. And then stretch the legs straight. So then, of course, the next pose and kind of a classic pose for headaches is Uttanasana. So if you have a couch or a second chair, I'm going to use that. So I'm putting the bolster on the couch, but if you have a second chair, you can use that. And then placing a blanket for the head, right? So you see the setup. I also have a blanket on the chair to raise the seat a little bit. Ideally, the hips are a little higher than the knees in order to bring freedom to the groin so that you can extend forward easily. All right, so now this is helpful but not absolutely required. You can push the bolster forward so it's actually resting on the chair. Do you see? So that there's a continuous surface. Now the height of the bolster, you kind of have to adjust for yourself, all right? So we'll start here and then we can build it up if we need. So I press the hands down, lengthen upward first and then come forward. Forehead, I'll hold the elbow and lift the forehead. Okay, Pavana Muktasana. Let's see. Hold your elbows. Unless it bothers your shoulder, you can have your arms hanging if you need. Okay. See that the groins are soft, the trunk moving forward. Now, I'm thinking you might need to, I can't really tell because just looking from the front, but I think you need a blanket on top of the bolster. I suggest putting a blanket on top of the bolster because it looks a little too low. So if it's too low, then the back doesn't really extend. You know, the back doesn't really extend, the head kind of hangs. Whereas if I have the proper height, then I can really rest the entire trunk and have the abdomen resting. That abdomen resting is very conducive. The abdomen resting is conducive to quieting the nervous system. You know, of course, the gut is such a revealing part of our physiology and holds a lot of tension, a lot of intelligence, a lot of sensitivity, and so the pressure of the abdomen on the bolster can be very soothing and quieting for the nervous system. Like you think about like babies, how they like to rest, you know, on your chest or on your shoulder, and so this kind of evokes that feeling of being completely supported and held in that manner, and allowing the nervous system to cool off again. You could also, if the headache has anything to do, especially with the neck and shoulders, you could also experiment with turning the head and see if that helps or makes things worse. So you could turn to one side or the other and see if that alleviates or exacerbates. So a minute or two on one side, a minute or two on the other side. So here, you know, earlier we were in the hip extended position in Supta Konasana. Here it's a groin hip flexion position. So the hip flexion position is advantageous for bringing the spine neutral, parallel with the floor, and to get that the brain parallel with the floor also. When you turn your head, see that the chin is coming away from the throat a little bit, so that there's not a compression of the throat, and so that the cervical spine moves from back to front. In general, we are moving the spine from back to front for spinal health. So a habitual kyphotic position where the spine is moving toward the back body and you're kind of in a convex shape of the spine. That is a very stressful and painful over the long run position to be in. So this movement of the spine from back to front is generally very desirable. There are a few poses where we don't do that, but in general, that's how we go through life. You know, we feel a lot better when we're sitting up tall rather than slouched. Slouching usually brings on a lot of pain over the long run. Now, if there's any pain in the neck here, what you could do is adjust the placement of the blanket so that it's not so much toward the nose side, but more toward the ear side. So you could try that out if there's pain in the neck. Some headaches are better with forward bends. Some headaches are better with supported back bends. Depends on the cause. It depends on the person. Some headaches are better with inversions like Ardha Halasana, and some are not. Okay. Come on up. Are you feeling better?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's try a couple of supported standing poses then. All right. So it is standing poses week. So let us have a mat at the wall. I'm using a couch instead of the wall. So, but a mat at the wall, long orientation. And we'll do Trikonasana here. So facing just a few inches from the wall, really. So you can have the hands at the wall and step the legs wide. And turn your feet to the left. And using the hands as guidance, have the hands at the wall. Come closer to the wall. And then keep your hands at the wall as you come into Utthita Trikonasana. So the purpose of the wall here, especially if you have back pain, is to feel the abdomen becoming parallel with the wall and the lumbar parallel with the wall. The buttocks lengthen down toward the right heel. The hands are at the wall. And then as you press the left buttock forward, the right thigh moves away from the wall. Extend to the crown of the head. Keep the head quiet. Gaze at the wall. Don't gaze at the ceiling. Have both, have the hands in front. Look at me. Have the hands in front like this at the wall, okay? I'm using the couch, so my hands are on the couch. Be very close to the wall, because the wall is giving you a lot of information. Turn your leg out. Turn your left foot out. Yes. Keep your hands at the wall. Yes. Press your hands into the wall. Take your legs a little wider if you can, Cheryl. A little wider if you can. And increasing at the top of the right thigh. Sorry, left. Yeah, you're on your right leg. Yes, that's right. Take the buttock under and the abdomen back, Ava. Buttock under. The buttock under. The left buttock under. Okay, and then come up and do the second side. So I hope you find that facing the wall is quieting for the nervous system. And then go to the other side. And I also hope that you find that it's giving you a lot of stability and a lot of information. So in terms of the low back, the task here is widening across the lumbar and bringing that lumbar parallel to the wall. So normally, quite often, the lumbar wants to sort of narrow and pull toward the front body, and then also tilt toward the wall. Can you move the lumbar away from the wall? The buttock under. Creasing at the hip. And then come on up. Walk your hands up the wall. Walk your hands up the wall. And then step together. So try this. So with the hands at the wall, let's have the toes, actually, I hope you don't feel claustrophobic, but have the toes touching the wall. And then step the legs wide. And then turn the left leg out. Okay, do it with me. So toes touching the wall. Toes touching the wall, hands at the wall. Feet together, Tadasana. Feet together, Tadasana. Toes touching the wall. Abdomen away from the wall. Buttocks down. Abdomen away from the wall. Hands at the wall. Hands at the wall. Okay, now step the legs wide with the toes touching the wall. Step the legs wide with the toes touching the wall. 4 feet wide if you can. Okay, lengthen the buttocks down. Abdomen back. Abdomen away from the wall. Now, feel where your tailbone is, and then bring the crown of the head in line with your tailbone. Crown the head over the tailbone. Good. This is a good way to practice. All right, now turn your left leg out. Keep your right foot where it is. Turn your left leg out. Now feel the relationship of your trunk to the wall, and maintain that relationship as you walk your hands to the left side. Keep your hands at the wall. Walk your hands to the left side. Keep your hands in front of your chest. Keep your hands in front of your chest as you walk your hands down. Trikonasana to the left. Trikonasana to the left. Walk your hands down. But feel the relationship of your trunk to the wall. Don't let the buttocks move away from the wall. Move the abdomen away from the wall as the left buttock comes toward the wall. Left buttock comes toward the wall, abdomen moves away from the wall. Lengthen the buttocks toward the right heel. Okay, come on up. Turn your toes, turn all 10 toes to touch the wall. Turn your right leg out, 90 degrees. Left foot stays where it is. Abdomen back, buttocks down. Find, with the crown of the head, find the tailbone. Balance the crown of the head over the tailbone. Abdomen back, buttocks down. Turn your right leg out some more. And then walk your hands to the right. But first, observe the relationship of your trunk to the wall. And then maintain that relationship as you walk your hands to the right. What does that mean? That means that the right leg has to really turn. That means that the right buttock has to really roll under. Are you having back pain, Cheryl?
No,
What's happening?
my groins are so tight that I can't put my legs where I need them to go.
So you feel like your left leg is moving toward the wall and your right leg is moving away from the wall?
Yeah.
Okay, so take your left foot 1 inch from the wall. Left foot 1 inch from the wall. Left foot. Okay, give yourself a little more space. Okay, is that better?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay. Now, when you come up mindfully with your attention on the relationship of your trunk to the wall. Trunk parallel to the wall. Spine parallel to the wall as you come up. Walk your hands up the wall now. Trunk, spine parallel with the wall. Use your hands at the wall. Buttocks down, abdomen back. Buttocks down, abdomen back. Is your abdomen parallel with the wall? Bring your abdomen parallel with the wall. Okay? And then turn your toes to face the wall. And then step together. Okay, so Ardha Chandrasana can be a very cooling, calming pose. Let's see. Let's have the leg up on a chair. Okay, so let's see. I'll show you here. Okay. So the toes will be touching the wall. You'll have a block. Left leg turns out. And then walk down the wall, Trikonasana. Now I have to move a little bit toward the chair, and then the back leg will be supported by the chair. I need a little more height on that chair. So, okay, the foot will be on top. The leg is on top, all right? Probably, depending on the height of your chair, you might need to build up the height, okay? So, toes touching the wall. You could have your toes 1 inch from the wall, Cheryl. Then turn your left leg out. Then walk down the wall. Bend the left leg. Place the hand on the block. Step your left foot a little bit toward the chair, and then take your right leg up. Oh, too far. You have to step toward the chair, Cheryl. Step toward the chair. Yes, that's good. And then take the leg on top. Oh, don't yet. Keep the block where it is. Put the leg on top. Yes. Okay. Toes to right toes to the wall. Right toes to the wall. Right toes touch the wall. Yes. Now the left buttock has to come toward the wall, and the abdomen away from the wall. Abdomen and shoulders away from the wall, gazing at the wall. Put the hand in line with the right hand in line with the right shoulder, Cheryl. Put the right hand in front of the right shoulder, right in front. Bend your right arm. Bend your right arm, Cheryl, and put your hand, yes, like that. Okay? Because then you can feel the wall and you can be in a more kind of intimate relationship with the wall and feel what's happening. Okay? Abdomen back. Buttocks toward the right heel. Okay. Step the foot down. Step the foot down and then climb the hands back up. Come to the floor and then come. But now, take your time here, okay? Because what are we working on? We're working on the spine parallel with the wall. So the abdomen has to move back and the buttocks have to move down. Come on up. Move the chair, Cheryl. Okay. Now, turn your right leg out. Left foot stays at the wall. Right foot should be still just a few inches from the wall. Look at your right foot. It should be maybe like 3 inches from the wall. Right foot, right foot. Okay? And then walk your hands down to the right side. Hands at the wall. Hands at the wall. Why? The hands are giving you feedback about what is the relationship of the trunk to the wall. Walk your hands down. So the hands are like a steering wheel for the spine. Okay, then place your hand down. Now bend your right leg. Bend your right leg. And then Cheryl, step toward the chair with your right foot. Step toward with your hand on the block. Step toward the chair with your right foot. Yes. Okay? And then up you go. Up you go. Ardha Chandrasana. Toes to the wall. Yes. Okay? Right buttock under. Right buttock under. Uh-huh. Keep your hands at the wall so that that left hand at the wall so that you can use that kind of like to steer the spine. And ask yourself, is my spine parallel to the wall? Now, of course, the spine has curves, right? It's a curvy line. It's not a straight line. And so even with the waves in the spine, is it parallel to the wall in general? Abdomen back, buttock under. Okay, and now bring your leg down and start to make your way up. All right, and then step together. Stay for just a few more breaths in this kind of awkward position facing the wall. And take just a couple more breaths, observing the spine in relationship to the wall. Then come on, and then step away. And let's take Ardha Svanasana. So you could have your chair. And then step back. Let me see Trikonasana spine here. So remember when you were working on bringing the abdomen parallel with the wall? Now bring your abdomen parallel with the floor. Okay, come on up. Come on up. Come on up. So let's have the hands at the wall. Let's have the hands at the height of the head, okay? The hands at the height of the head. Then measure with your feet. Go 1, 2, 3, 4.5 footsteps back. So here we're like it's like a downward dog with the hands high. And have the whole, and then press the thighs back. Measure again. Let me see your measurement, Ava. Do it again. Do it again, Ava. Hands at the height of the head. Hands at the height of the head. 4.5 footsteps. Let me see your one. That's 2, 3. That's 4. Okay, then half a footstep. Half. Okay, join your feet. And then press your thighs back, Ava. Don't move your hands. Press your thighs back. Okay. Come on up. Stand in Tadasana with your back to the wall. All right. Lengthen the buttocks down. Pull up to the front of the hips. And then take your hands on your abdomen. And lift the front of the hips up. Abdomen back. Then reach your arms up. Abdomen back. Lift the back ribs up. Lift the back ribs up the wall. Okay, now, just take one step forward, away from the wall. Stay in Tadasana or Bahasana. Abdomen back. Buttocks forward. Abdomen back, buttocks forward. Okay, now from here, turn it around to face the wall. Abdomen back, buttocks forward. Step away from the wall. Step 2 feet away from the wall. 24 inches. How many centimeters is that? Half a meter. Step half a meter away from the wall. Abdomen back, buttocks forward. Now, bring your attention to your trunk and keep your arms next to your ears. Keep your arms touching your ears. And hinge at the hips, touch the wall with your fingertips. Touch the wall with your fingertips. Hinge at the hips. Keep your ears touching your arms. Arms touching your ears. Thighs back. Yeah, right there. Touch your wall. Touch your hands. Okay. Abdomen back. Abdomen back. And then come back up. Come back up. Now, step 1 foot length further forward. Further back. Inhale, exhale, come forward, touch the wall. Thighs back. Keep your arms next to your ears. Yes. Abdomen up, buttocks forward, thighs back. Okay? And then come on up. Take 1 more footstep back. Inhale, exhale, touch the wall. Ardha Uttanasana. Thighs back. Keep your arms touching your ears. Yes. Abdomen up, thighs back. And then inhale, come on up. And bring your arms down. Okay. So now from here, can you translate that into Adho Svanasana? Have your hands on a chair. And then step back. Long spine. What am I looking for? I'm looking for maximum length of the spine. Maximum length of the spine. Take your hands to the wall, Ava. Press your palms into the wall. Take your hands a little higher. Hands higher, higher. Yes, okay. Now, thighs back, inner thighs back, inner thighs back. Yeah, that's much better, Ava. Much better. Okay, and then step forward. And come on up. All right, so sit on a blanket. Well, yeah. Sit on a blanket on your chair. Sit sideways. Have your left shoulder. Have your left shoulder toward the back of the chair. Otherwise, sit on the floor for Bharadvajasana. Sit on a blanket. Have your left shoulder toward the back of the chair. And then inhale. Now, as you inhale, bring your abdomen up parallel to your lumbar. And then exhale. Keep the abdomen parallel to the lumbar as you twist to the left. Hold the back of the chair. Sit in Bharadvajasana Ava. Or sit in Virasana Ava. Sit in Virasana. Sit in Virasana. Okay. And then Cheryl, elbows out. You can do Parshva Virasana Ava, twist to the left. And now, Cheryl, chin up, sternum up. Look up on a diagonal, Cheryl. And keep your chin in line with the center of the chest. Exhaling, ring the abdomen, widen the elbows, turn the chest. Slow and soft exhale. On your next exhale, turn a little bit more. And then come back to center. Your blanket. Inhale, reach your arms up, and as you reach your arms up, feel the abdomen and the lumbar parallel to each other. And then exhale, take hold of the back of the chair. Look slightly up, keep your chin in line with the center of the chest. Draw the spine from back to front. Exhaling, ring the abdomen, turn the chest. And repeat 2 more times. Is the abdomen still parallel with the lumbar? Keep the abdomen parallel with the lumbar. And then rotate the spine more and more. Rotate. It's the rib cage and the shoulders that turn mostly. Elbows up and out. And then come back to center. Okay, so now Ardha Halasana or Charasarangasana. Okay, so I'll give you that option. So either so let's see. For Cheryl, I suggest Ardha Halasana. Well, I don't know if you have everything to do Ardha Halasana. Well, I think we should give it a try. Okay, so let me see. Set up your blankets. Let me see. Let me see what you've got, and then we'll work it out. This would be a typical setup, okay?
Is that 2 blankets?
That's all you have?
No, I have more, but how many do I need?
I would use at least 4.
Okay.
You could use, I mean, it's completely variable, but for you, I would use at least 4. And put a block under your hips. Okay. The bolster is sticking out a little bit. You see? So it's a little bit off the chair. So really get the shoulders under. And if you want to use the wall, Cheryl, for your feet, you can use the wall. Okay? And then flip over. So the thighs will come onto the bolster, the feet will come a little bit wider than the chair. So the thighs are supported. Okay. Let me come out and watch you. Get your neck on the blanket. Take some time to really roll your shoulders under. Pull the chair in as close as you can. Pull the chair in as close as you can without bumping your head. Okay, and then flip one over. I see a little ottoman or stool or something. Oh yeah, maybe you could pull that in. Or yeah, use the wall. Get a little something to put your feet up on. By the end of the pandemic, everybody will have a perfect yoga room set up. I think it needs to come in closer. That bench needs to come in closer. I like that bench though. We can use that bench for a lot of things.
Yeah, a friend made it for me.
Yeah, we can use that for a lot of things. Take your hands onto your back, Ava. Press your hands to your back. Press your elbows down. Okay. Keep your feet on the bench. You have to keep your feet on the bench.
It keeps falling over.
Use the wall. Be very close to the wall. Very close to the wall. Keep your feet at the wall as you lift the buttocks up. Hands on your sides. Hands pressing down. Yes. And then lift the hips up as high as you can. Get the hips up as high as you can. And then take one leg at a time over. One leg at a time. Yes. Get your knee. Yes. Take your feet wide. Take your feet wider than the chair. Take your feet up wider than the chair. Don't take your feet under the bar. Well, I guess you could, but take your feet wider. Just the thighs need to be on the bolster. Just the thighs. Yeah. Yeah, you could do it that way. 8 wide. Yeah, it's like that. Now, for many people, Ardha Halasana cures headache, but kind of depends on the person and depends on the condition. So you can see if it helps or not. You don't have to stay. So what's nice about Ardha Halasana is the position of the back and just allowing the back to lengthen out. Allowing the traction. It's the use of gravity and the traction that's beneficial here. So from the height of the hips, the spine can dangle. Particularly nice for the low back. For neck and shoulder issues, we would do a different pose. So Cheryl, have your elbows back. Don't take your elbows toward the chair. Have your elbows back. Yes, and the reason for that is so that your shoulders stay on the blanket. Because if your arms are coming forward, then the shoulders slide off the blanket. So have your elbows back so the shoulders are supported on the height. Okay. So now, after this pose, you'll be taking Shavasana on your own. Okay? So after this pose, you could take Shavasana with your calves on the chair. That's the classic low back Shavasana. Or you could do it flat on your back, however you wish for your Shavasana. Okay? And you can stay in this pose. You can stay in Ardha Halasana as long as you wish. I will be officially ending, but you can finish up on your own. All right? Okay. Have a wonderful day, everybody.